We're about to start yet another sleeve project. This one I'm super pumped for. Like, fantasy stuff, Greek mythology. You cannot go wrong. Awesome stuff. 3/4 sleeve this time. Josh, what does that mean, 3/4 sleeve? Well, basically, she's already got her forearm tattooed by another artist. I'll leave a picture on the screen so you can see what I mean. She wants me to do the rest of her arm. Now, what she's got already isn't the same style, so it's going to be pretty impossible to blend in and make it look seamless. It's going to stick out, it's going to look different, but she's not bothered. She's a collector of tattoos anyway. She's got a bunch of stuff all over her body. This is just like a single project from me, but she still wants me to take up the rest of her arm. So let me show you the design because it is freaking sick. So the theme is Artemis, which is the Greek goddess of the hunt. So she's always depicted with a bow and arrow and often paired with a stag. And sometimes in some depictions with wolves as well. So I've included a wolf, but the main thing is a stag. That's why I've done a big stag portrait down here to give an idea of how this looks on the body. So you can sort of see like an arm, subtle arm shape down here. This is going to be the top of her arm and the outside forearm. And then it's gonna like blend in, and this is gonna be the inside bicep. So we're just coming down a little bit because she has that tattoo there on her forearm. But I'm gonna do this smoky effect, which kind of looks like magical, I don't know, like a magic spell around the arrows. I really love the arrows coming through like this. It's gonna really add some nice flow. And then this is how I'm imagining the branch here sort of wrapping over on the front of her shoulder. Like, if you imagine, this is like just a template of a woman, so I'm imagining the branches come forward a little bit just to sort of wrap round. I'm buzzing for this. I hope she loves it. She was pretty open with the design. She just wanted Artemis and the stag. That was like the main thing, and then was pretty much just like crack on. So I cracked on. Fantasy stuff is like my favorite stuff to do. I mean, I like doing all sorts of things, you know. I don't mind doing like regular realism, and I don't even know how you describe it. Too many genres. If I can just like do crazy colors and it's a bit magical like that, I'm a happy boy. Now, for some reason, I have no idea why, I've been thinking about my old tattoo machines. And I think today just feels like a throwback day where I get these bad boys out. The Inkjector Flight Nanos. I used to use these for years, probably like 2 or 3 years straight, before I went wireless. And I must admit, going wireless is 100% way more convenient. Let me just spin you around. Going wireless is 100% more convenient because, well, it's wireless. But I don't know why. I've just been thinking about these. Yeah, it feels like it today. I'm gonna do it. Let me check. Okay. We're gonna have to change some of this. So these are set up to my old settings. I'm gonna change these. Voila! So many different cams, like it's the original. I had a few different 4s set up. Okay, so I want them both at 4mm, I think. Should I keep one at 3? Yeah, both at 4mm. I'm gonna change the bar. I'm gonna do a medium on one and then hard on the other. This is the titanium rod, which is like the hardest one, but I think it's just a little bit too much for me now. We're gonna go black torsion bar. I'm not doing this upside down. That's one. I've got this at a 3.5, but I think, to be honest, just 4 is better for me. Longer stroke. I'm gonna see if they do a 4.5 actually. If I like using this again, because it's been a few years. Alright. That feels like medium. Yeah, that's the hard. That's soft. Alright, we're gonna go medium. So what this means, if you're not a tattooist, but you're just interested in what I'm doing, this is the torsion rod. So the machine, it'll be this way up. The machine with the motor is up here, and that connects to the torsion rod or the plunger or whatever anyone calls it, and that basically drives the power from the machine. Bloody hell, get it in there. That drives the power from the machine like this, and then depending on how much resistance or give this has is going to determine how much of the machine's power is going to go into the needle. So for example, the black bar that I have set up on the other one, this is very firm, it doesn't have much give. Obviously the metal one doesn't have any at all, that is rock solid. So the machine's power is going to be directly transferred from the motor into where the cartridge goes here. Now this one has some bend to it, so when it feels resistance against the skin, it's not going to transfer all the power through, and it's going to actually pull back a little bit, and that's going to give what's called a softer hit. And then for certain types, oh, I need to change the cam here. For certain body parts, that is essential in my opinion. And then this is the cam, and that determines how far the torsion bar moves before it comes back around, before it completes a full cycle. So that will go 3.5 mil. I'm going to swap it out to 4 mil. So basically the needles go back and forth a distance of 4 millimeters. There's a lot to think about when it comes to tattooing, especially on these sort of machines, because they're a bit more mechanical. However, what I like about it is it gives you the freedom and the ability to make changes to your own preference, really. Like, and that's it. 2 4 mil strokes, one with a medium and one with a hard bar. And we'll see which one suits her skin the most. I can just get a quick measure of your arm.
Yeah, of course.
I must admit I wasn't 100% happy with this stencil peel. The bottom half I think that sat perfectly on the lower forearm, but the portrait in my opinion was a bit too small, so I've had to jump back into the Procreate document where I made the design and just resize certain bits of it, keeping the arrow the same size but making the portrait bigger, and then I felt like the branches were a bit too big as well. So I made a few changes and then had to reprint the top half, realign it to the bottom. Definitely ate into a bit more time this morning. Is a little bit of a nuisance, but you can't get it right first time every time, especially not on massive tattoos. It's so difficult to get the design perfectly sized up without your client sitting directly next to you. And obviously I need to make my design at home, but doesn't really matter. I think we've lined it up pretty well and I'm much happier. Second time getting this stuck on, I think it sits a lot better. Looks a much more suitable size for her arm. You'll see in a minute when I peel off the second time. So normally I would start a new sleeve project on the biggest bit, like the portrait at the top, but because we lost a little bit of time this morning, I just felt like I didn't want to have to get stuck into something really intense like doing a portrait. I wanted to have a nice start to the day, and I mean in the end it doesn't really matter because it's all going to be finished. So I just changed my mind at the last minute and thought let's get started on the Stag and just crack on with the sleeve from there. So in last week's video I had a pretty interesting comment, and if any of you didn't see that video, it was the one with the dogs, the 2 dog portraits and the little forest scene at the bottom. That was a pretty cool one. Posted that just before Christmas. Go check it out if you haven't. Well, let me fill you in. Basically on day 3 I completely, as I mentioned in the video, forgot to plug in my microphone, and then I jumped in to do a voiceover, and I actually had some pretty positive comments. Some of you guys were like, Josh, we just love hearing you talk so much. You're our favourite person in the world. I really can't get enough of how much you talk, and your voice is so soothing. It was something like that anyway. And it made me think, well, if you guys actually like hearing the voiceover bits whilst I'm doing the tattoo, then let's bring it in. Let's do that. So I'm going to do that today for this video, and then to my subscribers, just let me know if you would prefer just to hear the sound of the machine and have me shut up because I already talk too much anyway. So I figured, what can I waffle on about for the next 6 minutes? I made a point earlier in the video about fantasy tattoos and how I really love tattooing fantasy projects, and I commented about regular realism. So I guess some people might not actually know what that means. Let me try and explain the type of tattoos that I do, the different styles or genres of tattooing, and like where they overlap, and just kind of how I would frame it. So I'm a color realism tattooist, as a lot of you guys are aware. I do only color tattoos, and I make those color tattoos look as realistic as possible. So you would put that into a box of color realism, because obviously you can have color tattoos but color neo-traditional or color traditional, color Japanese. Like tattooing, like with music, there's a million different genres, and I tend to just focus in on what I'm good at and what I enjoy. That being said, I personally would say you've got fantasy realism and then regular realism. Now, the realism aspect basically means you want what you're creating to look as detailed as possible, so it's like as if you would see it in real life, like realism. Sorry if I'm like sounding patronizing by trying to dumb this down, but I think it can really help to sort of explain it really simply. Now, fantasy realism would be something like if I was going to tattoo a dragon but make it look like it was real, because obviously dragons are not real, so you can't technically say that's a realism tattoo because they don't exist. But doing the dogs that we did last week, like those dogs are real, so it's the same amount of detail but we've got a fantasy concept. I would consider this project right now that we're working on a fantasy realism project, because the theme is mythology. Like, the theme is the Greek goddess, and then the stag that we've got with it. Although stags are real, you'll see from the design, and then as we get closer into doing more of this tattoo, the colors I'm choosing are not real. Does that make any sense? Like, if I was going to do a real life photo of a stag, I would literally just copy a picture as if it had come out of nature, just all of the brown colors and green from the woodland and things like this. But because I wanted that magical element to the design, because of the goddess, I've thrown loads of blue at this, really bright pockets of orange, as if there's like glowing fireflies or something in the background, and the arrow has got like this magic swirl around it, which is giving off light, and then that's illuminating the side of the stag's face. Basically, like, the colors I've chosen are not realistic, they're more fantasy, but the detail level is realistic, because it still looks like a real life stag. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, to be honest. But like, as I'm saying it out loud, it's a bit much, but that does make sense to me. I think like realism is one thing that I do. So say a client comes to me and they want, like I said with last week's video, like, I just want a portrait of my dog. I want it to look like it's a real photograph, nothing else, nothing crazy, don't overdo the colors, blah blah blah. I would consider that realism. But then when someone says to me, I have this idea, this concept of something that doesn't exist, like the satanic back piece that I did, or the Gothic Mother Nature, or this one, they're not real life. I have to create it from scratch. So I'd call that fantasy. It just makes it a bit easier to understand and kind of like categorize the work that I do. Because someone might see this tattoo, also, as a side note, I'm from South London, and my accent, we don't pronounce all of our T's. And I posted a reel of the back piece that I did, and I said, this is the craziest tattoo that I've done. And I had so many Americans giving me shit in the comments. So, just as a tangent, leave me alone. I'm from London. Like, it's the way that we talk. It's a bottle of water. Thank you very much. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, someone might see this tattoo and think, oh, he's never going to do a portrait of my nan, or I want my dog tattooed on me. He's not going to do that because he just does this fantasy stuff. But it's not true. So I do like two different styles, and that's how I kind of frame it. I think it can help, because some people, when they want to book a tattoo for themselves, they almost need to see the kind of stuff that they want advertised as well. So yeah, I hope that resonates and makes a little bit of sense. And other than that, I'll just leave you for the last few moments of me doing this fantasy stag. I pretty love it. I love it. It's good. Also, with my fantasy stuff, I try to simplify my details a little bit as well, and just really hone in on the bright colours, which is why I'm not going too crazy with all of the individual hairs. I'm definitely putting in some textures like you see now, but I quite like just that simple, bold, bright colours. And I'm super pleased with day one. I was feeling really ambitious, and I was hoping I would have had the antlers done as well, but being realistic, this is a huge amount of ink for one day. Pretty pumped. I've done a little bloodline just so I can do tomorrow's bit easily, and I'll see you in day two. The homemade sourdough game has been leveling up recently. Check this out. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Good business. I'm gonna go for honey as well. You ready? Oh my god. It just doesn't get better than homemade bread, but more specifically with raisins and cinnamon. Oh my days. Oh my. Ay, ay, ay. Oh shit. Mm-hmm. Out of interest, what does everyone prefer? Do you prefer me switching up the angles, you know, like this? Kind of just sitting in my studio, just like this? Or do you like POV? Let me show you. Or do we like a bit of this? See my hands. I must admit, it's a lot easier to do POV because I don't have to think about moving the camera. I can literally just walk around. Let me know. I've just been doing a mixture, whatever I feel like on the day. Should I carry on just doing a mixture? Or should we focus in on one? Let me know what you think to all my subscribers. If this is your first time, what's going on here? If this is your first time watching one of my videos, then you don't get a say in the matter. Subscribers, let me know. Right, there was two different stencils, so the face of this top one is not the right one. Everything else should be the same. Okay, so I'm thinking plan is connect this, get all of this bit done. Oh, I don't know if I better get that face done as well. That is looking like a lot of work. Staring at this now, I'm like, fuck. This might, we might need another session after the two more, because I might need two more just to get all of this done. And then one more for the inside bicep. I need to organize these drawers. I got stuff everywhere. What do we got? What do we got? May the gods be with us. Okay. I'm feeling positive, but we'll see. Yeah, it looks good to me. The main thing was keeping that arrow straight.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
As long as the arrow's straight, the rest is, if it's like a millimeter or two, it doesn't make a difference. Day 2, getting the antlers done. They wrap quite a lot around the elbow, around the back and on the inside, so pretty much a brutal day for my client, tattooing both sides of the elbow in one day, having been tattooed the day before already. Not easy, but she sat very, very well, I must admit. Credit where credit is due. I've had that done myself, and it is it's not fun, but it looks good. The ink takes her skin quite well. It's very slow to saturate the elbow. Basically just requires multiple layers, like to pass things 2-3 times and really make sure that it's fully saturated. It's quite challenging skin to work on, just a lot thicker than the rest of the arm and very flexible. So we just really took our time to get today's piece of the design up to standard. I wrote off even thinking about the face within about an hour or 2 hours of starting this session today. I just knew it wasn't going to happen, and it's not worth trying to aim to get it done and then just get super tired, do stupid hours. It's not worth it. It's good to keep the mind fresh, have us both feel really good, have her feel good and not feel like she just come out of a war zone. So yeah, just focused in on the antlers and the arrow. But overall, it's been a good couple of days. It's been fun to work on this design and these colours. I just love these colours. I know I've said it before, but this shade of blue might be my favourite shade of blue. Paired with this shade of orange together, unstoppable. Peanut butter and jam, honestly. Gravy and mashed potatoes. But yeah, I finished this tattoo a good few weeks before Christmas. It's been crazy the run up to Christmas. I was tattooing loads, but then also on the very few days off that I did have, finding time to see friends and family. So editing has been hit and miss all over the place. I would have liked to have had all of the 2025 content out before the end of the year, but it's just not going to happen. So the next couple of videos that I've already got, next couple of tattoos that are coming up, they are going to have to eat into the first week of the new year, 2026. That is crazy. But the next one is awesome. Kingfisher tattoo. I'm so excited to show you that one. That has been one of my favorites right near the end of the year. But other than that, final few words from me. If any of you would be interested in booking a tattoo with me for next year to work on some cool fantasy projects, I want to do a lot more fantasy stuff, just like what you just saw now. That is my favorite stuff to do. Just bright, simple color palettes, blues and oranges and all fun stuff like that. Maybe some more pinks. Let's do more pinks. Get in touch. Link in the description to my website. On my website is all the information. How much I charge for a tattoo, how to get in touch. There's a contact form on there. Fill it out. My assistant will reply to you via email, and then we'll schedule a consultation, either in person or over the phone. If you're really far away, that's fine. And then we can talk about your ideas and then book your tattoo session for next year. At the moment, I'm taking bookings for April, but who knows? If your idea is really, really good, I might just have to work a day off and get you in sooner. Or if you don't have any ideas, even better, just say, Josh, I really like your work. I want to get a tattoo. I want my whole back done. I just really don't know what I want. You can do anything. That would, mate. I would 100% make sure that Jody whips up some unreal homemade baked goodies for that appointment. If that is you, if you get a tattoo and you're like and you said just that, just the way I said it, oh mate, oh, you'll get a whole fresh loaf of cinnamon raisin sourdough. I mean it. You're gonna have to remind me though, because I'll forget that I've said this in this video. We'll be months ahead, so. Yeah. I'll see you next week for another video. Merry Christmas, if Christmas is right around the corner, or Happy New Year. I don't know when this video is up. Bye!